Hi, and welcome to the Nature and Wildlife Discovery Center. I'm Diana, and I'm the Raptor Center Director here for the organization. And you, of course, are visiting our Raptor Center once again, live for our weekend Raptor Talks here at the Nature and Wildlife Discovery Center. This weekend, I'm trying to focus on the son's playing games with me. But anyway, this week we thought it'd be fun to kind of focus on behind the scenes here at this Raptor Center. So yesterday we talked a little bit about our flight enclosures, but there's a lot that goes on before a bird actually gets into the flight enclosure. And one of those things that happens is the birds need some extra TLC. So this morning I thought I'd introduce you to one of our hardest working staff members, Aggie, and show you what's going on in her world today. Right now I'm outdoors in one of our enclosures, and this is actually our outdoor ICU area. We have a place, I'll just kind of pan around. It's a little bit hard, a little awkward here, but I'll pan around a little bit. You can see that we have an outdoor space with some caging and crates if we should have over. Oh, and there's Lurch. I don't know if you can see Lurchy. There he is looming up in the corner over there, watching me over his shoulder. But we do have some outdoor spaces where sometimes the birds, when they're recovering, they can, they don't have to necessarily be in an indoor space to recover from their injuries. Instead, they can be in an outdoor place that's confined while they're recovering from an injury. So certainly when we do have that opportunity, we can put the birds outside. But behind me, there's a door, and it's called R2, and we actually call it the tree house. And we're going to go in here today and very quietly and peacefully, because there's some birds in here that I want you to meet. And after this storm, lots of things are sticking, so bear with me as we travel in. There we go, we're going to travel in, and there's the tree that gives it the name Tree House. Okay, there's some very cute little residents. Boop, and there she goes. Hi guys. Yeah, oops, sorry. So we're not going to spend too much time, but I do want to introduce you to lovely girl that's snapping at me. Let me see if I can get her out. There she is in the corner. That girl in the back there, that is Aggie. And Aggie is our foster great horned owl mom. Aggie is a senior citizen. She's in her mid-30s, and she has done educational programs, but these days she spends her summers as our foster mom. So Aggie's had an interesting life. She came to us from the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in Colorado Springs, where she actually was on exhibit there for about 20 years. And the zoo was making some changes, and Aggie was no longer needed at the zoo, so she needed placement. So we said Aggie could come and live with us, and she's been with us now for about 13 years. She's done some education with human children, but what she's best at is actually taking care of baby great horned owls. So let me go up higher, and you can see two of the little fuzzy guys, and they live in Aggie's enclosure here, which we like to call the tree house. When we were building the cages, there was this beautiful elm tree, and there we go. Here's one we can see up close. Little baby great horned. He's very cute. We debated about just cutting the tree down to make way for the new enclosures, but we decided that it would be much more exciting and fun and helpful to have a tree, especially a spot where these guys can actually interact with the environment that they're going to need to survive in the wild. So right here in the nest box is one of Aggie's charges. This is a young great horned owl. It came in after being lost from its family. It luckily doesn't have any injuries, but we weren't able to locate its nest site, so it had to stay with us in captivity. When we can, we try to reunite these guys with their families, but that isn't always possible. Sometimes they come in and they're just so young, there's nothing that we can do to reunite them. Maybe the nest is too high, or again, we can't locate it. Maybe they're injured in some way from a attack, or maybe the nest has been destroyed because someone cut down a tree that the parents were living in, and now the nest is gone. So sometimes we do get some of these guys that live with us, and Aggie helps out by raising them. She teaches them behavior. She'll feed them when they're little. And sometimes this year it's really peaceful this year. We don't have a lot. Aggie usually sees anywhere from, he's going to go into defense posture, Aggie usually sees anywhere from 8 to 20 or 30 youngsters over the summer. This year so far she only has 3, so it's a real easy year for her. But sometimes when they come in, let me just pan over here, there's a lot of them, and so Aggie needs a little help brooding. So what we do is we use feather dusters that are naturally colored, and we call these our artificial moms. So when we do have some littler guys to put out here with Aggie, we'll actually build a soft nest to put the littler chicks in, and they'll actually just curl right up underneath the feather duster, just as if it were their mom, and curl up and go to sleep. And it's a really effective tool. We use it for lots of youngsters of all types, birds of prey, and or even older ones that are just need a little bit of nurturing. We can't do that ourselves, of course. But the artificial moms do a great job for keeping them very, very warm and healthful to do our job here. So it's really cool. Aggie has been a great asset for us. And just a little note about young birds. This is the time of year when birds are leaving their nests. There's a lot of babies going on. So what you want to do is if you encounter a young bird or any wild animal youngster, you want to be sure, first of all, it needs your assistance. A lot of animals do just tuck their babies in a spot where they think it's safe and go off to forage for a while, and then they return. And sometimes what they think is a safe place in their mind isn't necessarily in our minds a safe place. So for example, a few weeks ago, we got a call from a shopping center in Colorado Springs, and a young great horned owl was tucked into the corner of a shopping center. He was just kind of sitting there with a partially eaten rabbit tucked underneath him. Mom must have left him there for the day thinking, oh, he's tucked away in this corner, he's safe and sound. But of course, people walking by noticed him. We did encourage them to just leave him be. And because of all the attention he was getting during the day, Mom would surely move him in the evening when it got quiet. And that's exactly what she did, and they didn't see that young owlet again. So that's what parents do. So first of all, determine that it really needs your help. Is it safe just to leave it where it is? Now, of course, if it's in a dangerous zone, maybe like we've gotten young birds that are like along a curb on a busy highway, that's probably not a good safe place, and they may need to be recovered, but they may not need to come into wildlife care. Maybe if there's a bush nearby, they could just be tucked safely under that bush where they're not too far away from where maybe Mom left them, and then they can go back to the wild and Mom will come back and feed them. Wild animals, of course, are very good parents. They don't want to abandon their kids if they don't have to. They're just as good as we are, and they're much better at caring for them than we certainly are. The same thing is true of fawns. Often people find fawns in their yards, things like that. Maybe you're out hiking and a fawn gets up to follow you. That's instinctive for that fawn. He hears something moving to kind of follow you along. The fawn doesn't necessarily need your help. Actually, you can just push it back down into the grass, make it lay back down, and then walk away from it. The parents will not reject the young if they smell human on it. It's just like if your kids came home reeking of dog, you probably wouldn't reject your children. However, you would probably give them a bath. And that's maybe what the doe does, is she comes back and gives her fawn a bath to get your scent off of it. But please be careful that you aren't kidnapping young wildlife, that they really do need your assistance and your help. So we want to be very careful. If you do come across an animal that you feel really does need assistance, there's lots of ways you can get help. You can contact a local wildlife center if you are familiar with one. Here at the Nature and Wildlife Discovery Center, we of course field lots of phone calls, and we're always happy to help people throughout the state of Colorado to find an appropriate wildlife facility to care for animals. Usually if you contact your local Colorado Parks and Wildlife office, even sometimes your local sheriff's office or police departments, they have ways of contacting folks like us who can provide assistance for that animal. You can also, there's a great app called Animal Help Now. If you have a smartphone, you can download that, and it has a pretty extensive database of assistance for animals, not just wild animals, but domestic as well. And it'll find your location, and it'll help pull up assistance for animals as close to you as possible. And I know sometimes when people reach us, they found us on the web and maybe For instance, the other day I got a call from some folks that were in Connecticut. I don't know why we popped up for them, but I used Animal Help Now, and I found them a wildlife center like a mile from their house. So these are really great tools to do it. If you do need to catch an animal, you probably should do it by only after you've consulted with someone who knows how to handle that animal safely. If you've picked up a baby bird, don't feed it, don't give it water. And that's true for any wild animal, unless you've been instructed by a wildlife rehabilitator to do food and water. You should not. Giving food and water actually can complicate care when it gets to our center. So for example, we had a bird come in that some people had found, and they felt bad for it, so they gave it food, they gave it water, which the bird took. But the bird needed emergency surgery, and unfortunately we had to wait for surgery until the bird digested, because when we put him under anesthesia there was a high risk of him regurgitating. So we don't want to delay care because they've been given the wrong thing. So do be conscious of not doing food and water. If you have picked up an animal, put it into a box large enough to accommodate it, and keep it at a comfortable room temperature, no food or water, and please contact assistance right away for help. Sometimes, please note where you found the bird, because sometimes after the rehabbers look at it, they think maybe you could just put it back, and that would be fine. So do pay attention to where you're picking them up, so maybe we can reunite them later on. And you can do that depending on how many hours they've been gone or how many days. It is often possible to reunite youngsters with their parents, even mammals, birds as well. So we want to be careful. Another animal that you shouldn't pick up and disturb are turtles. Turtles are a cool animal, and this time of year the females are out looking for spaces to lay their eggs. And so if you see a turtle maybe crossing the road, fine to pick her up and put her to the other side so that she doesn't get run over by a car. But please don't take her in the car for a drive to some place you think is a great place for her to be. Let her stay in her vicinity, because turtles, once they are removed from the places that they know, they actually have a very difficult time finding food, water, and shelter in a foreign area, and they often perish. So help turtles out by not relocating them. Keep them in their neighborhood, help them across the road, that's fine, but don't take them far away because you think they should be at this pond. There's chances are that turtle won't survive. So we want to be very careful with how we're dealing with wildlife that we think is in danger. It's just so important that we try to interfere as little as possible in their ways, and that's actually their best chance for survival. They're very, very good at it. They know what they're doing better than we do, so they're just wonderful to have. You can hear in the background we have some young ravens. Ravens are fledging right now, so we've got 4 young ravens in with our educational raven Jack. He's keeping them company. They haven't had breakfast yet. It's a little bit late. We got a late start this morning. I think we all just took a little sleep in. We've been so tired and working so hard at cleaning up mud and dust and debris here at the center after last weekend's storms. But they're very noisy, and I'm sure the owls are just like, can we just eat them? I'm sure that's what they're thinking. But anyhow, well, we're having a great day. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I'll give you one last look at this cute little guy who's in the cage, because he's just adorable. Let me get there we go. It's hard for it. There we go. Can you hear him clacking his beak? Yeah, he's probably starting to get a little bit stressed. So I want to wander out and continue on with my day. I certainly have things to do, cleaning cages and caring for birds. So thank you guys so much. And, encourage you, if you want to learn more about the Nature and Wildlife Discovery Center, you can always reach out to us on our website at hikeandlearn.org. Or, of course, you can check out our Facebook page, which you're already on if you're watching live today, and learn more about our organization, or just give us a phone call. If you do come across injured wildlife and you just don't know what to do and you need some help, please feel free to call us at our Raptor Center. That's the best connection to get directly to someone who can help you out. And our number is 719-549-2327. And we'll do our very best to help you out and get you to a wildlife rehabilitator in the state or wherever you are that can help you provide assistance. So once again, we hope that you'll be safe and be well out there. we are getting closer and closer to opening back up to visitors on the weekends. So we're hoping, I think around the 4th of July weekend, we're hoping that we'll be open. We're still putting a few more procedures and protocols to keep everybody safe and well that visits with us. But hopefully next weekend I can tell you for sure when we're going to be reopening. So until then, be safe, be well, get out and enjoy this beautiful weather. It's a gorgeous day again. And someday soon, hopefully we'll see you here at the Nature and Wildlife Discovery Center. Have a great day.